Hey everyone, Kyle once again, and welcome back to the next movie review and back to reviewing the Steven Seagal movies. And, really enough, like I said before, there's been a couple I liked. This is one of them. So yeah, this is not going to be a big rant, because this one I surprisingly liked. Now I always say the film is not great. It's not like on the same edge. It's on the same level of his golden 80s 90s movies. No, it's not. But of all the direct-to-video ones I've seen, well, from before and then afterwards, this is definitely one of his best ones, I would say. Because there's another one that I liked, and I think there was one other one I did not mind. But this one is definitely one of his better ones. And that is from 2005, and that is of Into the Sun. Now, it's directed by a guy named Mink. I don't know what this guy's done, though, but I thought Mink did a fairly decent job. I would say pretty decent, competently job directing this movie. And it stars Steven Seagal once again, like I said. In this film he has a partner by the name of Matthew Davis, which honestly I'm not really big on this guy. I mean, some of the films I've seen, I wasn't really this big on Matthew Davis, and plus his character in this film is an idiot, so I didn't give a damn about him. But still, and you have appearances by William Atherton. William Atherton, you remember him from Die Hard 1 and 2. You know, he was the guy, what was his name? Dick. Which technically he was the one, definitely. But it doesn't say, his name. That's his name was. The reporter, in Die Hard 1 and 2. And he was also in Ghostbusters as well, with the fight line with Bill Murray says, yes, man. Your Honor, this man has no dick. Yeah, the William Atherton, he's the guy who let all the ghosts out of those containers in Ghostbusters and let them run all over the city. That jerk, yeah. So yeah, so that's William Atherton. He has an appearance in this as well, which is okay, cool to see. And I think, and Steven Seagal himself in this film, I thought from what I say in this film, it looked like he did give a damn about it, because throughout the previous or before and afterwards, he's mostly just sleepwalking, looking so bored, not giving a damn, right? Here, it looks like he does actually care in this movie, about this film, And also, what a positive thing I think about it, there was no dubbing in this. It was all Steven Seagal's voice, and I didn't see hardly any stunt doubles as well, so that was another positive I could say about it. So looking at for this particular one, there was more caring. They put more care into this film than his previous ones or afterwards. But yeah, Steven Seagal looked like he did give a damn in this movie. So I would say Steven Seagal, yes. For a direct-to-video film with him, I would say he was fairly decent in this movie, yes. Because for what the crap I've seen, what you see me rant on from The Foreigner and Out for Kill and Belly the Beast, and then Out of Reach, that was just bull crap, just here he did a fairly decent job in this film. And also the fact that also in the cover here he has this machine gun with a grenade launcher. He doesn't have that. He doesn't use that or have that in the movie. Let's just put that as the cover though. So, and also really enough, it's also done with the production studio. Part of this production studio you can see right here, Destination Films. I've seen this company before. Did films like Bats, the film with Lil Diamond Phillips, and even the Thomas the Tank movie, right? Because if you recall, because I remember Destination Films did both of those films. I don't remember what for a while the films they did afterwards. I don't know, but I'm just pointing it out. But yeah, this was a very decent direct-to-video film that Steven Seagal did. It looked like he did a pretty decent job in this film, and I like the setting in this film as well. How much of anime manga fanboy I am, And so it takes place in Tokyo, Japan. Yes, that's one thing. Which I liked about this film was the location of this film. because because to me personally, because I always want to go to Tokyo. I talked this with my brother and my friend Angel. We always talked about taking a trip to Tokyo. I always want to go there. And it's how the way in the film was shot in Tokyo looked like it was very really Tokyo looked really nice to see. Oh, shit, got so excited I almost dropped the freaking DVD. Tokyo looked really nice to see, and that's why one thing I always want to plan a trip to go to Tokyo. I always do. Me and my brother and my friend Angel. Yeah. One day though, one day. Because I always consider how much I always one thing I always come to appreciate was the Japanese culture. I guess you have like the anime and manga stuff to thank for that, but still, but I always come to appreciate it, like especially especially more on Japanese stuff. Like I always love the Godzilla movies, and well, I'll eventually have to do the Godzilla films one day, like I'm doing a Steven Seagal thing. I'll eventually do a Godzilla thing, but although there were some Godzilla films I did not like, though, to be honest, though. Oh, you're a fan. No film is perfect, okay? No film is perfect. There's always gonna be good ones. There's always gonna be bad ones. I know, but I'm saying, I like the Godzilla films and stuff like that, and especially one of my favorite TV shows from Tokyo, from Japan, MXC, Most Extreme Elimination Challenge. You've seen me make my top 10 eliminations, right? Japan has always been a country that I was always so fascinated with, and the culture, and I appreciate, especially all the stuff that I like, especially giving me animes and stuff and mangas and stuff, just. But one day though, I'm just pointing that out though, because that's kind of funny. One of the decent ones I enjoyed from Steven Seagal was in Tokyo. Ironic, But like I said, Tokyo looks really nice to see, And in the plot of this film, I get this was not too confusing like The Foreigner was. I got what the whole gist of it was. Because the story is you have the Yakuza, the Japanese mafia, the Yakuza, and the Chinese mafia, the Tongs, which the Tongs was also bad guys that was like took place what was it, Belly of the Beast. But here in this, they were used better in this, because at least in Belly of the Beast, at least they have the bad guys sit in one room the whole entire time, Yeah. But here, it's the Yakuza and the Tongs. They're joining forces together to create this big drug network. And of course, with Steven Seagal, of course, he's a CIA agent, like he's playing in all the movies. He's a CIA operative, and you get this opening sequence in the jungle, which I think could not use it, but it's supposed to set up for Steven Seagal's character, right? And he has a partner, and there's in the jungle. I forget what place takes place at, but there was a woman that was about to be raped by some bad guys, and he blows his cover and goes out there, and one leads to another. Ultimately, the partner he had gets shot. So then later on, and you have Matthew Davis, who's his rookie partner, who gets partnered up with Seagal, which, like I said, I'm not a fan of this guy at all, though, and the guy's a dumbass anyway, so, and also surprising enough, if anyone's seen this, spoiler alert, though, if anyone's seen any of the Seagal movies, but for this one, spoiler, though, okay, Matthew Davis, he dies midway through the movie, surprisingly. I'm like, okay, like he's the second name on this credit here, I'm like, he dies halfway through the film. Wow, that was a surprise. Okay, that coming, but I didn't care for the character anyway. So, and plus he died from his freaking stupidity, Which that's one of the reasons. But I didn't care for the character. But it's like he died midway through the movie. Okay, that was a surprise. And also one issue I have with the movie is that there's not that too much action sequences, like too much gunfire or car chases. But you do get some decent fisticuffs, what Steven Seagal does, and he does it all on his own, no stunt double. Okay, and there's no bad dubbing. It's all Seagal's voice, which I do appreciate. Because God forbid, he has he can do it in his own voice, not just someone else dubbing his voice, But he does some decent hand work, fisticuffs, and some kicks too, which was decent as well. like I said, William Atherton has an appearance. I think he's one of the guys who works with Steven Seagal, or I remember. And you get some decent, and also Steven Seagal. He has a, I think it was he has a fiance that he has, because one later in the movie, because like they made you like a pinky promise, like if when he's done, promise to never do this again, right? And you do get a little bit of a, well, it's not too graphic, which things like I don't need to see see Seagal, at his age, doing a little sex scene, but. It's not a graphic, which thank God I didn't need to see that though. But and also that you get some you get some bloody bits. I'll give it as another part I like. You do get some bloody bits, like when in Steven Seagal he uses a sword, he cuts a guy's arm off, or the guy I think it was the guy who killed his woman, I think, or I think it was, because he has a hat, because he has a little thing on his head that he recognizes, and he cuts like the top of his head. You see like blood squirting out of the hat. Okay. So you get some nice bloody bits, and then with the lead Japanese bad guy, he slices him up a bit, and so you do get to do some bloody bits. That's one thing I appreciate what this film does. It looks like there was a bit more care that was put into this film. And Steven Seagal looked like he does give a shit for most part. Because unlike compared to his previous work, or afterwards. Although they did look like he did give a shit in this film, because usually just, but with Matt Davis, being an idiot, because he accidentally, what was it called, AD, accidental discharge, from his gun holster, it's like, actually shoots it off before, and Steven Seagal, he has a funny moment, a funny dialogue with him. It's like, what did you do? You accidentally AD. Or when when Matthew Davis gets killed, it's like, if you die on my watch, I'll have to kill you again. But eventually Matthew Davis dies, and because he was the Chinese guy that comes and breaks his neck, I was like, okay. Or another funny moment, and like I said, you get some nice funny moment, like with some of the funny dialogue with Steven Seagal. You get funny moments with him. I'm like, wow, you actually do get funny moments with Steven Seagal in this movie. Or from earlier at the beginning of this movie, or early, because I think it was with William Atherton, like, the two-way mirror, right? And Steven Seagal, he does like this with his hands, he's like this, and he does like this. Yeah, he does like almost like like one of the things the symbol, like okay, right? Okay, but it's like this, and it doesn't like rolls out like to a middle finger. I'm like, see, that was funny. See, that's like some of this. It kind of resembles like the funny moments we've seen in his old movies, basically. From his previous golden movies, that's like the type of humor I've seen from back in his day, That was pretty funny. I did like the whole thing, and then just go. That made me laugh. So I guess it showed I guess he did it. I guess for this particular film. And he does give a shit in this film, I guess. And also, nice to hear him. He's speaking Japanese as well. That was cool to hear. I would say. And one thing is another. He gets some again info. Gets some decent hand-to-hand combat stuff with Steven Seagal, and kicks as well. And he takes out the Chinese guy who killed Matthew Davis, and then he gets some other guys. There was like this female. I think she was a cop, I think it was. And then she, is another person. They go in, they take out the Yakuza and the tongs, and then they get with Steven Seagal with the guy with a hat, blood squirting out of the hat. You chop it on the guy's head, slicing a guy's arm off. That would get some decent bloody bits, I would say. And then fighting with the lead Yakuza leader. And then afterwards, Steven Seagal walks off, and that's pretty much it. So out of pretty much most of all Steven Seagal's direct-to-video films, I enjoy this one. Now, let's say it's not great at all. It's not on the same level of from his golden movies. No, it's not. But I thought it's not average. I would say it's more than above average. I would say it's a very decent Steven Seagal direct-to-video films. For a direct-to-video film, I enjoyed this one. Not great, but it's very decent as well. Very decent, yeah. Not great, but very decent. So yeah, this is one I actually did enjoy. I said it showed like the Steven Seagal looked like he did give a shit in this film. He did. But listen, Matthew Davis, I did not care for. He was an idiot and he died from his stupidity, you know. So I didn't care about him though. But nice, it was nice to see William Atherton in this. Which okay, it was nice to see him in this. Some of the fight sequences was very decently done. I just wish there was a bit more action into this. They put into this film, and the plot. I understood what was going on. It wasn't that confusing. The score. I mentioned the score. I thought was by Stanley Clark. I thought the score was very good. You know, for a directed video film, I thought it was very well done. It looked like something I would hear from one of his theoretical release movies from back then. You know. Of course, they tried to put this in theaters. I think they released this in theaters in Japan. I think they did, but direct video in the U.S. though, because you know, with the Godzilla films, they made money in Japan. So I think that's why, because this film was released in Japan. It was made in Japan. They released it in theaters in Japan. But the score I thought was very good though, and like I said, Steven Seagal will have his nice, funny moments. You know, when he's talking to Matthew Davis, like, "If you die on my watch, I'll have to kill you again." Or ADR, what is, you know, when he actually, you know, the AD, the accidental discharge, right? Or this is the funny moment where he just like this with the William Atherton like this, and then I like that. That just kind of brought back that fun moments like that kind of brought me back to the old Steven Seagal movies. That's why one of the things I do appreciate, you know. Oh, like I said, wish there was a little more action in this film, but still, I thought for his directed for pretty much of all of his directed video films, I thought this was one of his best ones. There's another one that I did enjoy, and that one's called Urban Justice. They had Eddie Griffin and Danny Trejo that was in that. Urban Justice was another one I liked. I think it was another one it was another one I did not mind. I didn't think it was not that bad though, but I'll have to rewatch it like down the line though when I continue on with these, you know. But Into the Sun I enjoyed, and plus it was nice to see, you know, Tokyo looked nice. I think Tokyo had its own Chinatown because that's where the Chinese tongs were. So, like I said, I would like to go. I wonder. So I've wondered if they had Tokyo. I wonder if Tokyo had its own Chinatown, you know. But for the most part, the cinematography of how Tokyo looked, it really looked nice. Like I said, I would love to go to Tokyo. I really do. I really always want to go to Japan. Because like I said, being, you know, I'll come to appreciate more of the Japanese stuff I enjoyed, you know, like not just the manga and animes and stuff, like I said, the Godzilla films and other stuff I enjoy, you know. But because like some of Japanese culture kind of like was fascinating to me, so one of these days, I'll have to, me and my brother, my friend, will have to take a trip to over there. One day, though. But yeah, and I think that the Mink, I thought he did a really competent job, compared to Michael Oblowitz, who directed two of them. The other guy did Belly the Beast, and the other guy from Outer Reach. This guy Mink did a much far better job than those previous directors did from those previous ones I reviewed. And some of the ones afterwards, sadly. And what else? But yeah, pretty much I can't think of anything else. But I think this guy, I think if this guy did more of the direct to video, if this guy did a pretty very competent job directing this film, I think. Who knows what he would direct other Steven Seagal movies afterwards. I don't know. I thought he did a really decent job in this film. Making the movie, you know, competently. Compared to all the previous ones. Pfft. Yeah, but it was nice to see that Steven Seagal looked like he did give a shit, you know. No dubbing, no body doubles. Looked like him doing his own voice and his own work, you know. And like some of the humor, like I thought was very funny, you know. But yeah. And it was nice to see William Atherton in this, and the action, wherever the action we saw in this was very decent. The plot, I understood what was going on. And it was overall, yes, it's one of Steven Seagal's one of his best direct-to-video films. Because the other one I'll have to review down, but later down. Like one is Urban Justice. I think there was another one. There was another one that I did not mind. So, but that'll be later though. But Into the Sun, for here I give this one a thumbs up. I do. I give this a thumbs up. As I said, I'm not gonna overly praise this film. It's not that great. It's not on the same level of greatness of his previous films, of his golden ones. But I give this a thumbs up just because this is one of his better directed video movies. So I give this one a thumbs up. Get to just be totally honest. So yeah, Steven Seagal, you made a good directed video movie in this one. So yeah. But thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next one, which we have to go eventually. Have to go from a good directed video film, then back into the shitter with the next one, which was Submerged, and then of course some other ones too, though. But this one, if you haven't seen it, check it out. This was a Steven Seagal directed video film I would recommend to watch. And let's take place in Tokyo, which is good for me, you know. But thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next one, and we'll see you next time. Later.